As Transformers Hub, we committed ourselves to being here every Friday, educating and making you discover your student assignment. My name is Carol, and I'm your host today. We have my kind of over here after the beautiful ladies and the gentlemen. This is Madame Patricia, Mr. Chade Andrew, and Madame Shetty. You are so well tapped. The panel is ready to discuss and make you better in life. Well, Mr. Chade, I'll begin with you. What is immorality?
Immorality can be defined differently by different scholars, but we all seem to agree on one thing, that it brings us to upward, unacceptable, deviant behaviors in society. Behaviors that contravene societal norms or what can be generally accepted in a given society. So that makes you deviate. There is no society, for example, that accepts stealing.
Yes.
There is no society that accepts sexual open activities. Sure. So don't you go or indulge in that more so openly, because whenever we talk of immorality, there is an openness in it. Someone is seeing something very funny compared with what should be accepted in society. That qualifies it to be immorality. Unacceptable behaviors in society, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chade. Does that content?
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us what is the antidote to immorality?
Yes, when you say antidote, people out there need to understand. Maybe you've used a very big terminology, but perhaps that is the most ideal. What should be done? No one in society, dear listeners out there, would be interested in this contradicting behaviors, the poor dressing, the sexual activities. No one is interested in that. And parents having children out there, we are all in this struggle. By the way, not only parents, every other person, the teachers, in schools there, the religious leaders, everyone should get on board. How do we fight these vices? How do we groom our children in the morally upright things? So when we talk of an antidote, we are looking at all possible remedies, all possible solutions that should not only be a target of only the parents. Remember, it takes a community, it takes a society to bring up a change. So when we get up to the antidote, we are looking at possible solutions to cutting down the immorality in our societies. Oh, yes.
Well, Mr. Has Mr. Andrew enlightened in some qualitative efforts. What do you think?
Well, first of all, when I think of immorality, and I'm thinking about evil, being evil, I'm thinking about sinful acts, I'm thinking about being wicked, adultery, abusing drugs. So immorality itself cannot be put under one umbrella. When you look at it, it has the list in Indians. There's so many things that are happening, and as the world is progressing, there are so many new things that are invented that mark us to our norms and culture. So when it comes to immorality, there is a background. For example, religious backgrounds. They have a way they look at immorality. For example, culture and traditions. They also have a way of how they look at what immorality is to them. So we find a movement that says dressing up to the knee, that is being immoral. But yet in the Christian type of way, it is decent. You can go to church like that. So we should also look at our educational background, our culture, and our religious beliefs as well. So the antidote, it has, just like Mr. Che has said, it has to be a collective thing, that it cannot be done by just one person, and it is a progressive thing as well. And I believe we've not lost hope yet. There are so many solutions. That's why we are committing ourselves to be that very best solution. So we are going to provide all those solutions. But as we're going on, I believe, to me, I direct it to the parents.
Thank you, Madam Shaki. Patricia, do you agree they have the faith that immorality will be improving in our society?
Yes, of course I do. And I agree, especially in the fact that when Shakira mentioned that, that it's a collective problem. It's a problem that it's everywhere, that the society needs to fight. It's not about greed, it's not about theft. All those are forms of immorality. So I can say I read my credit that morality has increased in many aspects. So while someone may not be sexually immoral, they might be stealing, they might be being honest, they might be cheating at school. So, and it's not just with the children.
Points and also dealing with the idols.
Yes, exactly.
True. Mr. Cherry-Kate,
Audience.
you said that this is the education sector, the media sector, and then the society have to connect
It
to
is a collective effort.
What do you think the education institutions must do to bring in these antidotes to work out?
Oh, yes. I'm seeing the general problems society has. That before we get back to that root cause, we are already jumping into schools. We are already pushing the blame onto the school managers and teachers. But you forget the territory begins there. Let us get back to the very first teacher. That is the parent. From day one, parents out there, how do you conduct your sound? Because even if it is stealing, the child picks that first habit from home. Now, when we get back to the parents, this is perhaps what I can advise the parents out there. Be very cautious from the time the child gets to 3 years. Actually, scientists say that even when the child is still in the mother's womb, as you talk, maybe the child is speaking a few words from the word go, from the day she's born on his born. Even the very first words you use to the may adopt. So parents out there, let us be very, very cautious. One, right from the words we are innocent.
Sure.
It's unfortunate today you find children as below 5-6 years, they are already using obscene language. They are too abusive, and we later blame the teachers, but we forget one thing. There is no subject that teaches children how to abuse. This is learned from home, and technically, it may not even be the parent at home, but it would even be the neighbors. Let it be everyone's ocean. Which language do we use before the children? Even when the child does annoy you, a parent out there, be cautious. Why don't you shower the child with a very bombastic word, moreover or same word? Eventually, the child will learn that. There is a small experience I must share with you. I used to cheer whenever I get pissed out, cheer. Eventually, I realized my boy had learned the same. Whenever he would get away with the police, the immediate action is cheering. Because he learned that the immediate expression of anger is cheering. Now, that is something very small. One may even ignore, but the child is already making it. So whenever you get annoyed, you straight away cheer.
This generation is very
And so the result of disrespect, we no longer give respect to the elders. And this is learned from home. Now, it gets to, it could be quarrels, parents normally have the husband, the story maker with the mother, and in the process, they're exchanging so many bitter ones. Falling at you, you're like it be, go eat your mother, something, as people say. The child eventually makes onto that. Then there also these other small things we ignore at home. The father is back with his beer. And if, as he's taking his beer, the child is learning. By the sometimes it's even the child who was sent to buy the beer or to buy the alcohol, at times even the cigarettes. So as he does his kissing, well, he's stopping my drink. And at one time I used to have my sweet wine. So the best I would tell the child is, that is my medicine. So I would also create a certain bitter harm and keep in the fridge. So as I'm taking my wine, I also give the other child the medicine. Of course, it was for cough, but now I was taking wine. So the child grew up pointing that is medicine. Then openly saying, now this is my beer, you should take. The next thing, the child will also ask for it as a sip. And what happens by the age of 12? The child is a drummer. So precisely, Madam Carol,
Yes.
the message I'm throwing to the parents out there, let us be very cautious with whatever we speak, whatever we do at home in the presence of the children. I will speak about the sexual conduct. Maybe any Shadila will speak about it. What happens in a once there?
Let's say you're talking about the parents and the charity they did at home. But these parents are never home. I can understand the point of the father where I'm things for the family and the values as well this generation. But how are they able to instill those values into those children that they have home?
We forget one thing. To raise a child, You don't need a full day at home. It could be just a few minutes I am home.
Mr. And
Yes.
I'm giving a scenario where a parent goes out in the house in the morning, and then the parent comes back when serving legs at 9. The children are either sleeping or they're in their bedroom to watching their own TV.
Yes, I agree, and we shall even get to the point of watching TV. But I'm now looking at this element of time parents ought to give to the children, that to grace a child. Yes, I know most of these deviant behaviors have come in because parents have limited time. But now the question we are having, remember, it's an antidote. That even the little minutes we have at home, let us speak to the children. Let us condemn any noticed vice. For example, you come back home and you find the child is putting on a shirt that you did not buy.
Yeah.
Or should be child, where did you get it? You got it on the label, please take it back. All right? Then you're at home for just a few minutes, you find they are partying that they are exchanging ugly ones. There and they've come in. The problem with the parents these days, we have spared the born and we are spoiling the children. So I must caution parents out there. Let's go back to our traditions of spare the rod and spoil the child. Once in a while, pick and give it 2 slashes. It is healthy, all right? Then let us also be very mindful. Let us be very mindful what we do in the presence of the children. If yes, I'm in love and I really feel I should pay the Shakira and back and I've taken hours without her presence, I should be mindful. Who is watching? You may find for you think you're just faking, giving it up, but meanwhile the child has observed that, and the next day she will do the same with the other neighbor. So parents, there is a lot of what we can share when it comes to parents, but for now we are saying, let us be very careful because charity begins at home.
But that nutrition is our biggest context. Give us an antidote.
Well, I'd like to quote the scriptures, you should allow me, from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 4. It says, let there be no filthiness, no foolish talk, no pre-joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. So like we see here, the Bible first that they talk about sexual immorality, then they talk about that. But still, filthiness, foolish talk, crude joking, those are stealing, those are way, that is immorality. But the Bible says, instead of doing this, let us be thankful. Let us be grateful. So I believe gratitude is an antidote in a way that, for example, if someone is stealing, that means either greed or they just want something that belongs to someone else. Why should it have be thankful of that which I have? And it will cause me not to want to take Mr. China's phone just because it's an iPhone, you know.
In fact, I'm saying a very big message in that biblical quotation. First of all, it teaches children and even the adults to be appreciative.
Yeah.
Appreciate even the little you have. One of the reasons why children are now stealing, they want to acquire whatever that pleases their eyes, even at a lower age. Someone is in P4, wants to hold the phone.
Yeah.
That already the working man, the working lady is holding. She wants to have that bad life with the mother at home. Now we should tell the children that if I can't afford this, please go with what you already have. All right? And then that also teach children to be thankful. Because I have seen a scenario where children, and even adults, by the way, because as we were once children, so meaning whatever you did not plan at that age, when you translate it to an adult, that still remains part of you. You give somebody, even if it's just a glass of water, someone must be told to say, thank you. All right? Then especially where you just tip around, you give a child something, she does not even take a minute back to say, thank you. So it is unsafe. Everything is supposed to freely be given. So then the element of appreciating will help us overcome a number of deviant behaviors, and even appreciating the little self-contained, self-esteem. There is a lot to share in there, but I don't want to deviate so much from the biblical quotation that calls us to be thankful in every situation. Like that was a powerful one from the religious angle.
I have a story I'd like to relate to that. Yeah. There was a time I remember I was young, and we had these rich cousins. They were super rich. As we were not that rich. So you know when you feel, when you see like your cousin, your family member, they're rich, you want the things they have. And when you're a child, your things look better than yours. But you know, one thing I found out every time I think about that story, I see that our parents and their side, they are not what they see. So this I had this cut. I got the first cut my mom and bought me. So when I went to see my cousin, she was like, "Yeah, I like your cut." Yes, I'll finally get to exchange in that and get something of her. So she gives me a toy. Me, I'm thinking it's really nice enough because I have something rich with me. So I go back home and I'm happy showing my mom. She's like, how good did you do that? I gave her my skirt. She took me back to my uncle's place and told my uncle that I have taken her daughter's what? Without her permission. I told him, no, I actually asked for it. He told me just take back. My cousin had to bring back my skirt. And then my mom, when we went back home, she told me, when you remember that top you had and the skirt you have, which one looks better? And it's true. The top she had given me was old. She was also not stand.
What I take in my mind is that because the one giving is from a rich family, or whatever I process, including their membership home makes a lot of value. So I really think we have such parents out there. Would they be very cautious that even if it's from the animal, but provided you picked it out without the consent of the elder, then that qualifies it to be illegal. Take it back and learn to keep within your limits. If that is what you have, it's what you have. The future, the best life is in the future. If we must teach the children, I always give an example to the children out there, that when we were about 20 years ago, the phones we had were modest breeds. But trust me, I don't know how many girls got A's in yearning to get those grades. How many ran out of school and dropped out? Nobody to get that phones. So if someone presented it, it does not make any sense. You realize that the phones we have, and we are very appreciative.
Right.
That for children out there are yearning to get that phones. But trust me, even if you just go to the internet and you find the latest technology on phones, 5 years to come, 10 years, you will not need to carry a phone. It will rather be a chip built in your system, and maybe you don't even need to carry anything, but you will still communicate. So we need to teach children to be patient, to appreciate the little enough, well knowing the future has a load. The future holds the best. Oh yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Hanbu. Madam Shaki, there is young people out there and they are striving to become mentor in life, follow to learn these values. What are the solutions that you are giving them today?
Well, I believe that we should, there's no one that becomes successful by themselves. There has to be help. There has to be a stepping stone. So first of all, you should allocate which is the stepping stone for you. You can look up for help from religious preachers. You can look help from your family, from a friend, or a colleague at work. You do not have to fight this world by yourself. We are not at war. Just be calm and find your ground and your solution. Remember your background, remember the foundation that your community is giving you. Because the reason as to why we are here is because of those foundations. And the reason as to why we have Uganda culture is because there was a foundation that was set before. So we should always look back and we know who we really are. And we should also allow to appreciate ourselves, appreciate our bodies, appreciate our beauty, appreciate ourselves. Even in the method that you have, there is something that someone else can gain from. You may think that what you have is not valuable, but someone else may find it valuable. So we should learn and also try to compare our lives with other people that are unfortunate. And so we shouldn't feel like we have the same world. There's so many ways to thrive in this world. You do not have to fight with others. So do not beat yourself down. Always push forward.
Thank you. Mr. Shege, that line, what are the solutions people should always look at?
Oh yes, I feel like it's still a bigger package to share with all the children, on all the listeners and all the lovers of Transformers are. So, one, let us teach our children as we teach ourselves to be very hardworking. There is no substitute for hard work. If you must get anything good, work hard for it. Otherwise, children want things on a silver plate. All right? There is no shortcut to a journey worth going to. Every time you're looking for a shortcut, trust me, shortcuts lead to danger.
They are very expensive.
They are very expensive. And we should also teach our children to be true to themselves. Because every time you tell lies, I always teach children that a lie is more expensive than the truth. And the truth will always win the journey, even when the lie set off at a time the truth was still sleeping. It is better to speak the truth and be yourself. Why tell lies over small things? Children are groomed from day one. They tell cheap lies over even minor things, and they are never cautioned. Teach children, and even as the adults, let us learn to be true. However hurting, I'll tell you, I don't like this. I don't care, because we live life of pleasing. And by the way, what is very painful, you can never please everyone. Actually, the weakest route to failure is trying to please everyone. Just be true and sincere to yourself. All right. Then the other thing, we have talked about patience. And we have said about let children and even adults learn to be patient. I have seen why children are indulging even in the sexual activities. There is some element of a shortage of patience. Whatever you're yearning to have, whatever you're yearning to do, you will do it at the right time and you will enjoy it to the fullest. So parents and even teachers out there, teach our children to be very patient. They don't need to rush. You're not dying tomorrow. Point out that you get the right girlfriends at the right time. But you find children at 12, senior one, they're already desperate for men. And this is very common amongst the women. I don't know why. I don't know whether that impatience is inborn, but someone is already desperate at the age of 12 years. The boy feels, if I commit to get a girlfriend right now, oh my God, you'll get the right women, you'll get the right men. Actually, I must teach this to the children out there. If you don't have value added, you can never get a man of value. Wow. You must have value added. You must also be a woman of substance, a woman of value. If you then get a decent man, actually, what is very painful, the moment you don't have any sense for academic qualification to be children out there listening, you find you are a senior 2 dropout, a senior 3 dropout, you will still get a man of that quality. But should you get good education, you give a patient, you wait and qualify, maybe in a degree, you will still get a good job. A good job will translate into good earning, all right? Good earning will translate into having all the property once admired, and it will still bring a quality man. But the opposite is very true.
Yeah.
You fail to be patient, you drop out at senior 2, you get a border who can only afford a single room or double room in a poor slummy area. You will not even have a decent bed. You will produce children in a very hopeless way from hopeless hospitals. Trust me, even when you die, you'll have a very poor Bible arrangement. So you will end up in a total mess. Let us be very patient. Let us be hardworking. Let us focus on our academics. It's only your academics that will create a brighter future. By the way, there is nothing that haunts man like realizing that he lost time in doing what he was supposed to do at that very time. That will haunt you for the rest of your life. Actually, in our African saying, we quickly say, "Obutasoma, Bolo." There is that common saying, but the man will always carry on that pain that I did this at a time I was supposed to do it. So let us really accept to do the right thing at the right time with the right people in the right places. Then children out there, accept advice. Listen to advice of the elders. By the way, there is no wise man who stops getting advice. If you want to be a wise man all the time, you must accept and take advice. After all, no one wants it all. So every time elders tell you something, in our African state, we say, "Emodi." Meaning, what's going on against you over something? You never know. One time you will live to testify. You will live to see it. Let us teach children and even the elders to take the advice of especially the elders, because once one has gray hair, we normally say gray hair is wisdom. That person has gone through it, has seen the dangers. Let us learn to listen to the elders. Oh yes, that is what I can share for now. But I say they have a very endless reach.
Well, so Patricia, in conclusion, tell us what you think is the best solution for the young people out there.
Well, the solution given by my colleagues are also very good. I'd also like to add, in short, what Mr. Julian finished with. The Bible says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with the promise that you may live well on earth and that you may live long. So immorality cuts your life short. A mention is immorality cuts your life short. So listen to your parents, listen to advice. Even if you're right and then I'm sure there's someone you can look up to. Every one of us should have someone to look up to. Thank you.
Oh yes.
Patricia, in your Elam, what is the advice you're giving out to the youths there about Immorality Antidote?
Me, my advice is really to the youth. Because I think Miss Patricia and Miss Anders they have covered that.
Yes, please.
Well, me, I like to talk with the parents, that people who are giving advice. When you see that this youngster is not listening to you, there must be a reason. You'd always find the source as to why this person is not changing. You've kept on giving this person advice. You've kept on trying to correct their mistakes, but they're doing the difference. They're different from what you're trying to teach them. So what I'm saying is create a relationship with this person. That is how you're going to know this person. And that is how you're going to find the problem and provide the right and appropriate solution to that problem. And two, please do not condemn them for their mistakes. I believe that the only one that is supposed to condemn and judge and punish is God. Your job is to be a good human being to the other, being a good neighbor, being a good parent. So please do not condemn, do not shame, because if you do that, a person is going to have a certain kind of hatred towards you, or you might find that that person is going to be totally opposite of what you're telling them. So find a way that you can pull their love and attention towards you so that they can pick that valuable lessons that are understood.
Oh, yes. There are just a few things I wanted to close it up with. Us, Natalie, you can.
Yes, please.
Parents out there and all the listeners of Transformers Hub, let us take this as the very last aim. Let's check the company of our children. Good company will make the child a better person. But bad company will even corrupt the own morals within the children. So what children call friends, actually I always teach people and I tell them the word friendship is an abbreviation where every letter stands for a given value. Is your friend faithful? Is your friend religious? Is your friend intelligent? And so on and so forth. One time we shall perhaps speak about the quality of those we call our friends. But then compare it or looking at the generation we now live in, the greatest cause of immorality is social media.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically, we are skipping our eyes on the aspect of social media.
Right.
We agree every good thing comes with some related disadvantages. Actually, people like Shakira say, not a rose without a thorn. But even the most beautiful flower, the rose flower, if not handled with care, it can as well tears. We agree social media holding phones, it has 1,000 related advantages. But trust me, it has proved the number one source of evil. There are so many applications in there, TikTok, with so many dirty stuff. Parents out there and teachers out there, let us caution our children. Let us be very careful. The time they spend on social media, what exactly do they do there? The drug abuse has become the order of the day. Even in this other place we are failing to talk about homosexuality, a lot is taught through social media. So let us be very careful. Maybe in our next lesson, we shall dig deeper into the dangers of social media. Thank you so much for always tuning to Transformers Hub. I really enjoyed
And something.
Oh,
That's a mindset. As you were speaking, I picked up something. parents are forgetting that when creditors are looking for someone to grow, they're not looking for adults. They are looking for people who are naive and unexperienced, so who are the children. So when he talked about people, we should watch people our children are hanging out with, and we should really have that relationship with that child, and you get to know who they are hanging out with, because you don't know people's intentions out there. So when we look at the people who are bringing in homosexuality in our country, they are not targeting that adults. They are targeting your children who are naive.
Oh yes, maybe at one point we shall spare and still educators, transformers have the question of homosexuality.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That was our brilliant panel today, discussing about immorality antidote, and has Transformers Hub. We're always here to transform your life timelessly, and we are here to let you know that you were created with a purpose, and it is that purpose we want to help you unleash. Thank you very much. It was amazing to have you people watch us on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. We love you and pray that you catch us next time, sometime. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.